actually super excited and humbled to be part of the team this year. And it's funny. It's always like the outside looking in. It's always easy to. I definitely did it many times. A lot of people know it's like easy to be like, oh well, Texas. They have Texas State Fair, and that's why they sell so much. But it's pretty cool. I'm kind of blown away every week to see like the multiple moving parts of this machine that is TGP and the fair team. So even in that serviceman stuff, it's crazy. So yeah, super excited. I am super excited about kitchens. Obviously, I just get super excited about selling. I mean, who doesn't love big orders? I'm always, I find myself always pushing myself to try to like have a bigger and bigger Cutco kitchen. My biggest one was like 13K. It was like kitchen with a bunch of extra stuff in there. So, definitely helps your averages when you're popping, a kitchen a month. So yeah, so I've kind of just started this year really just focusing on it. I've always really like sold a lot of ultimates, but this year my focus was like, hey, how do I just sell, more kitchens? Like what's possible for these residential orders? And it's funny because we look at the shift company wide with business gifts, and we're seeing that's like, they're shifting towards, having a lot of these bigger orders. Now it's like 10, 20, 30K orders are, it's not like as uncommon anymore as it used to be. I was just actually texting Steven like last week or a few days ago. And I was like, oh, hey, nice week, 40K week. And he was like, yeah, it's half of a business gift order. I was like, what? Half of a business gift order? That's insane. So it's like, this is not uncommon anymore. So I'm thinking, why can't 8 to 12K plus residential orders, be more common as well? So, for me, it just came about the combination of just wanting to work smarter, not harder. And sell more. Obviously, I'm getting married, so I have a lot of things going on this year. So I'm like, how can I sell more and not continue to travel, be on the road as much? So this was the way to do it. Sell Cutco Kitchen. So now I just have the mindset of like it really is the best value for everybody, and if they're in a financial place, like it's just a no brainer. So so I don't want to get into like I don't do anything super fancy or special, but I feel like I kind of broke it down in 3 tips, but I feel like I just found the way to just push the kitchen idea to every single customer every time in just like a super low key way. That's when you're explaining it, just makes sense to them. And then like what Kelly was saying, like if they don't get it all, they will either get a bundle or they will get it over time. And it's crazy because when I started like focus on this, I've sold kitchen to like a 20-year-old or 23-year-old single girl. And then I've also sold one to an 80-year-old. So it's like, you can't be picky who you're showing these to. I just got to be consistent. So I know I have 20 minutes. I'll try to be quick. And I know I talk a little bit fast, but I know it's being recorded. So if I need to repeat anything at the end, I can do that. So first tip I know it's super redundant. You probably hear it all the time. But it's as easy as it is. It's become a master of all parts of the kitchen and actually, believe and become a master of every single part. So like, obviously the knives, like everybody, that's the easiest thing for us to sell, right? So it's like, become a master at the big sets, the signature and ultimates. I know Seth's given talks on ultimates. We've had a couple of them, but it's like, it really is the best set. If you think about it, if people are cooking a couple times a week, if they have a family, if they have a grill, like there's no reason for them to not have an ultimate, bare minimum a signature, but really an ultimate. If they're young, yeah, they're not going to use 12 steak knives every day. But you think about it, hey, they have kids. Eventually those kids are going to have girlfriends, whatever, significant others come over for the holidays. Eventually their kids are going to have kids. So like they're going to use at least 12 steak knives. It's a forever set of knives. So it's, there's no reason why they shouldn't have an ultimate. So become a master at the big sets. The second part is the cookware. It's funny that like, it always drives me crazy about how you hear a lot of reps complain about like, oh, well, I don't focus on cookware because, people just return it, or, I don't sell it just because it's not as much CPO or whatever. It's like, no, the reason you don't sell it is because you don't know how to use it and you just suck at selling it. So, I feel like we're reps, especially like Cutco reps, just humans in general, are really good at like just creating the story in your head of, why you can't do something. And it's like, oh, well, whatever. And you start to believe this like self-made like confirmation bias. And then you just like, it just shoots yourself in the foot going forward. So our cookware is freaking amazing. I'm not going to get into everything about the cookware, but it's like, if you just think about the pain points, how many times you met somebody at a show where they're like, oh, this looks like what my grandparents had. They got married 50 years ago and they still use it every day. Or like, we have it now. It's like, that's insane to think about that they still have that. They're still using it. Um, I tell all my customers that our cookware is better than the knives. I truly believe that. I use it every day. It really is great stuff. So, I challenge, become a student and really make an effort to learn cookware. I'll be honest, I haven't been the best at selling cookware in the past. And I've always been in the top in ultimates, but for whatever reason, I never focused on cookware because, a lot of the same reasons that I said earlier. So I really made an effort. I was like, hey, this year I'm going to sell a ton of cookware. And it's crazy, like halfway through the year, I've sold more than I have in the last 2 years combined. Um, so it's like, people spend so much money on waterless cookware. 7, 8, 10 grand a set, which is it's our Cutco kitchen. So it's like they spend so much money on this. Nothing's worse than you have a past customer come about the show. Oh, how do you love your knives? Oh yeah, it's great, it's awesome. Oh, we just picked up some pans too, like really good stuff. Oh my gosh, like we have cookware. Oh man, well, we love ours. Thanks. And it's like, well shit, you just missed out on that. It's like they could have just bought a kitchen. So it's like make sure you do your job and learn how to sell cookware and make sure you tell every single customer about it. The next section, flatware. Like I'm sure you guys sell a ton of flatware. I know all you guys sell a bunch of flatware, but again, same thing. It's like the flatware is amazing if you think about it. A few months ago, we dropped our spoon in the garbage disposal and just destroyed it. We sent it in. I never actually sent it in before, but I sent it in. They sent me a new spoon. They just mail us a brand new one in 2 weeks. Like that's amazing that you'll literally have forks and spoons for the rest of your life. I used to tell myself the story of like, well, knives, like you can create a pain point, you can sell them on the idea of why they need knives. With silverware, it's like they either kind of need it or they don't. Like there's no like selling them on it. And then I took a step back. It's like, hey, our flour is amazing. Here's why it makes sense. Like they're going to use it every single day. They'll have it for the rest of their lives. And the crazy thing is, it's like it becomes a family heirloom. Most people that hand down this heirloom, it's like silver that they put in a box in a chest and then never gets used again. This is something that when it gets handed down, they're literally going to use it every single day and have it for the rest of their life. So it's like, it's crazy. There's nothing else out there like it. So the flatware is amazing. The last like forgotten package is the gadgets and accessories, which again, I got an aha moment at a home show at the beginning of the year where it's like the $1,200 package and the Vast Action books are crazy. Like it's $1,200, it's like 1,100 CPO, whatever, but it's like the last can opener. If you think about how many like stupid little Gazmos and gadgets, can't talk, that people buy, it's like they have 3 peelers, a bunch of scoops taking up their drawer, like all these things that's just a mess. And it's like we're literally replacing all of that for them again for the rest of their lives. Like they're never gonna buy a cutting board ever. So it's like, and again, it's such an easy add-on, whether you add in the kitchen or if you just like have someone like, hey, we're happy with our knives, we don't cook, like we're good, cool. How are your gadgets? And it's like boom, 1,100 CPO right there. So don't forget about the gadgets, give those some love. So you can't sell all of it basically if you're weak in one part of the bundle. It's just, I mean, you'll get lucky, sure, every now and then, but you won't consistently sell these well if you're weak in one point of the kitchen. So make it a goal to sit down and say, hey, where am I weak at? What can I get better at? Look at the top 20 lists. I love those lists. Mike Dowd always posts them and blows them up on Facebook. And I love seeing those because it's like, you're like, hey, how am I doing? You feel like you're selling a lot of cookware. And you're like, oh, well, people are selling more. What am I doing that I should be doing better? Flatware, I'm selling more flatware than me, So look at those lists. Sometimes it's cool to be like, hey, this year my goal is to get in the top 20 of this list or top 10 of this list or top 5. So it's the first tip. Second tip that I will go over is basically shifting the idea of us being a knife company into a kitchen company. And again, I know you've heard this many times. I know Kareem's given the talk, but kind of diving a little bit deeper. It's basically like finding multiple ways to talk about everything throughout your intro, throughout the demo, and even at the end when you're writing up the order. So kind of like if I just do like my quick intro, it's like, hey, you guys familiar with Cutco? No, yeah. So Cutco is an American kitchen company. Funny enough, we actually started making cookware over 100 years ago. It's nice because there's multiple layers. There's no chemical coating that chips off into it. Then we got really famous for our knives. Actually been rated the world's sharpest knives at History Channel about 12 or 13 years ago. And now we make one of the last USA made silverware companies. And it's nice because it's 100% dishwasher proof and it's your everyday stuff. So you don't have to sit there and polish. It doesn't rust. Now, the cool thing with Cutco is everything's backed by a forever warranty. Essentially what that means is if you ever break it, chip it, crack it, dull it, anything like that, we fix it or replace it for you totally free. So the idea with Cutco is you buy quality American made at once. You never need another knife, fork, or spoon, pot or pan, or kitchen gadget ever again. Um, so I'll kind of pause there. Essentially, what I'm doing, it's like in the intro, it's you're kind of like touching each little like package that we offer, and just doing like a quick little thing of like I like to handle their preconceived like doubts of what I'm showing them beforehand. So it's like the number one thing people look at cookware is like, oh, it's not nonstick. Oh, things don't stick and burn. Boom, I've already handled that. Again, just really quick. Silverware, oh, that's fancy stuff. I don't want to have to sit there and polish it like the fancy silver. Boom, I've already handled that. Knives, that's easy. And then gadget, briefly touch on that. So again, I'm doing that up front. And then it's like, hey, most people's end goal with us is to do what we call our Cutco kitchen remodel. And I have it out front and I kind of pointing to it. I want them to see that and like look at that at some point. It's like doing your cabinets or countertops, except this is a better bang for your buck because you use these every single day. No matter how many times you move or you redo your kitchen, your Cutco will stay the same. The best part is eventually all this will be handed down to your favorite child or nephew or niece, and they're going to use it every single day just like you are, and they're going to have it for the rest of their lives. Obviously, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not a small amount of money, but we split it over 5 months for you, and then you're done forever. People spend way more money than this on remodels, on cabinets and countertops, and they never bat an eye. And it just looks pretty. It doesn't even do anything for you. At least this stuff you use every single day. Now, this is our full Cutco, or this is our full kitchen remodel package. We have a variety of sets and bundles here that we do at the fair, starting from $500 all the way up to this $10,000 package. Most people wait and they buy Cutco here at the fair just because we personally pay a lot of our own money to be here. So I like to hook up my customers with a lot of freebies and extra bells and whistles for doing something with me today. So just curious, now that you know a little bit more about Cutco and what we offer, would you say you're more curious about different knife packages, silverware packages, cookware packages, or one of our kitchen bundles where you just never have to buy kitchen things ever again? So it's like explaining everything, putting the ball in their court. And it's just like literally just today, this morning at the booth, I did a full kitchen demo. It was a guy that like came up and he was like, yeah, just tell me about your knives. I was like, cool, here, let me just tell you about everything real quick. I like stuck to the demo. And when I asked him this question, he goes, oh, well, we need knives, but like we don't need cookware, but we kind of need flatware. So like right off the bat, he told me, hey, I don't need cookware, I need flatware and knives. So buy homemaker steak knives and flatware chest. But then it's again, like he came up here, if I would have just listened to his, oh, knives, cool, here, let me just show you about the knives. It's like, again, the same demo with the same person every time. It's like, hey, I'm the knife expert. Like, let me tell you what I have to offer, and then we'll go from there. So find the way to incorporate all aspects, throughout the whole demo. Even if this guy was like, hey, like, yeah, I just want knives. Cool. Hey, do the demo on the knives, finding ways to go back to the flatware. Like, oh, by the way, just so you know, like that's what's also cool about our flatware. They're actually super sharp too. After I cut the steak knife, like hand them a table knife, have them cut leather with the table knife. Oh my God, that's cool. Yeah, this is actually dishwasher proof too. So, I'm kind of going back and forth to other things, even though he said he just wants to look at knives. Sometimes I'll even close on a set of knives. And then as I get the card, go into your upselling, hey, just for the future, what most people do down the road for their kitchen collection is they move over to the silverware. I know I kind of briefly went over it, just dive into a whole demo of that. And then like, yeah, next it's a cookware, dive into a whole demo of that. And it's like, you don't know what you're going to trigger in their mind at what point in the demo. So finding ways to kind of sprinkle out the full kitchen package throughout the demo at the beginning, the middle, and the end, even after you've got the order. Even if they told you no, it's like, hey, no worries. Like, just so you know, like it's very low key laid back. The other thing that kind of goes into this is your booth setup. I know, again, it's like, I know you guys in Texas have beautiful booths, so it's probably not an issue, but it's like, how organized is your kitchen setup? For me, it's like, I do mine a certain way. It's like my cookware, and then my flatware is right next to me, and then the ultimate. Like that's all I have next to me, and then the gadgets in front of it. So it's all in one section. And then again, I know I touched it earlier, but it's like doing the same demo every time with every person. I was at a little home show in Kentucky, and in February or in April, and I was working with my buddy of mine, and his turn, a couple walks up, hey, we're here to buy a set of Cutco. I'm like, well, damn it. Old lady walks up to me like, yeah, like, can you buy individual knives? I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess you can. And like, I caught myself. I was like, all right, let me just do the same thing. So it ended up talking to her for a while, like moved up to like a block set to an ultimate. And then come to find out her house literally burned down last week. She showed me pictures on her phone of like, it was still smoldering, a pile of like wood and stuff a week later. And she was like, I actually need everything. She ended up buying a Cutco kitchen. And again, it would have been so easy for me to like been focused on that. 80-year-old lady, focus on that of like, oh, two knives, like he's getting a sale. It's like, no, stuck to my guns, do what I do every time. And it's like, she bought a kitchen. Like it was crazy. Surprised myself. Um, so, so yeah, so do the same demo every single time. Just begin to mental shift that we're a kitchen company, not just knives. Um, and then the last thing, my last tip is just having like I like to say, irrational, unshakable confidence in the pricing and the packages. So it's, you can't be scared of the kitchen price because, I always like to say customers are like sharks. They can sense any hint of doubt or like skepticism. You need to get the hecklers or whatever. They come up, they're like, oh, $10,000. I can buy a car for that. And I want to be like, what, bro, what kind of car are you driving? Yeah, it'll last you for like, we bought a cheap car for New York. We paid $6,000 for it, and we put $2,000 in it just because it's falling apart. So I don't know what kind of car you're buying. So it's like they can sense that doubt. If you step back and think about it, like you're at a booth, they're walking around the fair with all these different people that are trying to sell them stuff. These are strangers you met 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, and now you're asking them to spend $10,000 of their hard-earned money with you, and they have no idea who the hell you are. Some of them have never heard of Cutco. So it's like you have to have that confidence and just bulletproof confidence that like, yeah, it's $10,000. Here's why it makes sense. Like it's not a small amount of money, but here's why people do it. And again, it's like you'll get the hecklers and you'll get the people that are genuinely curious. And it's like, hey, yeah, $10,000. Like here's why it makes sense. Like, oh, you're crazy, and they walk away. Cool, whatever. And there's the people that are like genuinely, like you explain to them why, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, like, do I have to buy all of it? Well, no, here, let me show you. And then you just kind of go into a demo. So having that same confidence with everybody too. And the great thing about this is, you're not going to sell kitchen every single time, and that's fine. But the best part about it is you'll sell a lot more bundle packages, and a lot more bigger sets because it's like, hey, this is $10,000. Well, yeah, we can't do that right now, but we can do $3,000 for a set of knives, or like we can do the knives and the silverware for now. So if the worst thing that comes out of all of this is you sell more packages and more big sets, it's still a win. And then every now and then you'll pop a big set. You'll pop a kitchen. And then it's crazy because like the more, it's like a snowball effect. The more you sell, the more confident you get, and the more natural it's like. Kelly texted me and asked me, oh, how many of you sold? I don't know, like 7 or 8. It's like, I have lost count because it's like, it's exciting when you get them, but then it's like, hey, you start to expect it. Cause it's like, hey, if you're in a financial place to do it, you need the stuff anyway. Like it's a no brainer. Like, do you want it or not? Like, what do you want? Knives? Do you want all 3? So yeah, so basically just kind of like recover the tip. So it's just becoming a master of everything, all aspects of the kitchen. Reach out to people that are not selling as much as you and find out what they're doing. Really shift the idea. It's probably the most important thing is of us being a knife company more to a kitchen company, and finding ways to sprinkle it throughout your demo, and then just having that bulletproof confidence in the pricing and packages with every single person. So I don't know how I did on timing, but that's what I got.
You're like 20 minutes over on your 20-minute message. So no,
all right, cool.
That was great. Luciano, we could just let you keep talking all day. All of that was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I don't know if I missed it. Sorry, I was helping the baby. Did you talk about the 10 and 15 pay options? Did you go into details on that already?
I didn't know. Again, I didn't want to. There's so many other things, but yes, that's another kind of like drop down with somebody if you're talking to them like, hey, I really like this. Like, hey, realistically, like it's not a small amount of money. Like, could you budget $2,100? Like, hell no, there's no way. That's like more than our mortgage. Cool. Hey, no worries. Do you feel like that this is a package that you want? Yeah, we'd love to have that one day. Well, let me ask you this: could you budget, could you budget $1,500 today, or could you budget $700 today? What if I could find a way to get your payments down to $700 and still get you this kitchen bundle? Oh, well, what do you mean? How does that work? And I remember one specifically, the 23-year-old that I sold the kitchen to. She was like, hell no, like I can't afford that. And I was like, what if I could get it down to 700? She goes, I still get all of it? I was like, yeah, I mean, you have to wait a little bit longer, but you get it all. She was like, yeah, sure, let's do that. She like pulled out a card and threw it on the table. She was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was like so easy. It was just like an aha moment. So definitely don't be afraid to throw those out there once you kind of, deeper with the customer to see what actually makes sense for them.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because obviously, as we know, it's like if they have the money and we can build it up, then that's great. But a lot of times the money at a package that size really is a realistic constraint. So I love kind of the the other options for still making it happen. Like if they're really excited about it and they're really sold on the concept, even if the money is the issue, like they're still, like you said, oh yeah, she was like, oh great, if we can fix the money issue, I'm 100% sold on like doing this. So that's really cool. And I love the positioning of it being like the kitchen remodel, package, and really positioning against like how expensive cabinets and counter, because it's outrageous. People will drop 40, 50, 100 grand on a kitchen remodel and they're just like, yeah, that's just what it costs. They're price conditioned to spend that much on a kitchen remodel. And they're not conditioned to spend that much on a kitchen package. And so it's like reminding them of just how this compares. They're like, yeah, this is actually a lot less money and it's going to be a lot more useful to you than just the cabinets that look good. So that's a great reminder. Amazing. I love it. And I love your call out on the cookware, so we all have our mixed feelings about the cookware and our, maybe hesitancies on some things, even if like, I love it. I use it. I'm excited, but I have customers that still tell me like, oh, I have all these problems. And yeah, we thought we were going to love it. And we had this issue. And it's like, that gives me pause maybe that I don't realize when I'm selling it to other people, instead of like, look, everybody's going to have a learning period and I'm prepared to help them and I have videos for them and we're going to work through it. But the cookware is awesome and I love using it. And I need to make sure that I'm expressing that to all of my customers so that they're excited about it too. And so that's just a good reminder and good call out with the cookware hesitation a lot of people have.
Yes.
So thank you.